protecting vulnerable users such as children and the elderly through that safe systems approach, speed management, and context-sensitive multimodal facility design, assisting in equitable education and fair enforcement of traffic laws for all road users, and finally, using that safe systems approach to identify and improve high-injury corridors. That includes collaborating with other agencies that are committed to Vision Zero, as well as referencing the TCO's performance crash reduction targets. Our third goal is to maintain the system in good repair, preserve assets, and improve resiliency to climate change. That includes maintaining existing transportation infrastructure while repairing or replacing deficient facilities, supporting the maintenance of public transportation assets. That includes not only the county's continued commitment to Sunshine Line, but also assisting HART where applicable, for example, if there's a needed sidewalk connection near a bus stop. Maintaining or improving the capability of the multimodal system to evacuate vulnerable populations, and enhancing the system's resiliency to withstand and recover from a disaster. I will note this last objective here is required by state statute in terms of evacuating vulnerable populations. Our fourth goal is to promote connectivity. So this reads to provide safe and convenient connections within the transportation network that supports multimodal access to key destinations, such as community focal points, employment centers, and services throughout the county. Our objectives here include designing communities around a grid network or a modified grid, which will improve interconnections between neighborhoods and surrounding neighborhood serving uses, as well as updating the corridor preservation plan and ensuring adequate multimodal corridors. Our fifth goal is to provide choices when not driving, and it reads to create a sustainable transportation system that allows people to take their mode of choice to access necessities, opportunities, recreation, and each other. We have several objectives here, and that includes balancing vehicular capacity with fiscal, environmental, social, or economic outcomes. As I mentioned at the beginning, establishing and maintaining those multimodal quality or level of service standards, so moving away from that traditional vehicular LOS and looking at transit LOS, bicycle, pedestrian, those sorts of things. We also have an objective on new development mitigating its impact on the multimodal network. We have several objectives related to supporting and collaborating with HART to increase frequency to higher density and intensity areas in transportation disadvantaged communities. And again, we had significant collaboration with HART staff to develop that policy language. Finally, our last objective for this goal is to build a comprehensive bicycle and pedestrian system for additional trip purposes beyond just recreational use. Our sixth goal is to build a smart system that utilizes technology and strategies to improve safety, efficiency, and reliability for all modes of transportation and to meet the needs of all users. Our objectives here include addressing deficient roadways and safety of all users for enhanced traffic flow through technological solutions, as well as modernizing the county's traffic management center to monitor and optimize the multimodal system, increasing person trips and reducing vehicle miles traveled through transportation demand management, or TDM. So that includes strategies such as shifting from single occupancy vehicles to van pool, carpool, or things such as telecommuting, as I'm doing right now. Implementing comprehensive multimodal parking and curb space management programs. Those curb space management programs would be higher activity areas where there's a lot of Uber, Lyft, grocery drop-off or pickup, that sort of thing. Pursuing corridor widening strategically while considering lower cost alternatives, and improving multimodal connections to major military installations, tourist destinations, airport, port, ferry, rail, and intermodal terminals. And then finally, as I mentioned in the beginning, we have a new section on monitoring and supporting emerging technologies and strategies for transportation facilities. Our seventh and final goal is to ensure compatibility with context. And this reads to provide a multimodal transportation system that supports planned future land use, respects historical and cultural assets, supports the identity of the surrounding community, and protects the natural environment. We have several objectives here that include designing roadways appropriate to the future land use category that they traverse. As I mentioned in the beginning, this relates back to the context classification definitions and map. If you notice the graphic to the right, that shows a bit of what the context classification is. So really designing a roadway appropriate to the future land use that surrounds it. So that can be anywhere from rural to different versions of suburban, all the way to more urban contexts. Our other objectives include minimizing adverse impacts to residential and commercial neighborhoods and environmentally sensitive land, protecting neighborhoods from adverse impacts of through traffic and speeds while providing reasonable access to and from those areas, and finally, constructing complete streets to achieve safety, comfort, and aesthetics for all expected users and modes. As I mentioned in the beginning, we do have this implementation and monitoring portion. It will be updated with guidance documents and standards as they become available from county staff. Currently, we are in the July cycle of plan amendments with the mobility section, as I just presented it, of the comprehensive plan for unincorporated Hillsborough County. County staff have several more implementation-focused documents in progress that include the Complete Streets Guidebook, the Transportation Design Manual and Technical Manuals, as well as an update to the Corridor Preservation Plan. We do have a mobility section project page where you can review our draft language in full. Again, I just gave an overview of the goals and the objectives, but we do have a lot of policy language there. You're able to see what's new versus existing and compare the existing adopted language with the proposed. I would recommend looking at what we call crosswalks to be able to see exactly how the adopted language has changed versus the new language. Those are at the bottom of the project page under supporting documents. You can review previous presentations and other background information as well. We've had several outreach presentations to virtual public meetings, as well as presentations, briefings to the Planning Commission and the BOCC. All of those are recorded and available on our website. And we do have some upcoming meeting dates. On November 8th, we'll be presenting at a public hearing to the Planning Commission. And on December 16th, we have a transmittal hearing with the BOCC. And again, the link there is provided at the bottom of this slide. And ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my presentation on the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan HCCPA 2116 Mobility Section Text Amendment. I'm happy to take any questions that you have. We did just complete our public comment period, so that ended last Friday. But again, we're happy to take any questions that you may have. So thank you very much for your time.
I think, do you want to share the?
You finish that and I'll start the next one.
Oh, okay. Okay. And I don't know if there's questions with regards to this, Mr. Hudson.
Thanks. Thanks, Katrina, for the great presentation. I just had a curious question about whether there's a similar effort underway for the Tampa and Temple Terrace comprehensive plans.
Thank you for the question. I know that the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan was last updated in 2008. So it is a bit out of the cycle of the time frame. It is in need of update. Whereas I believe the Tampa and Temple Terrace comprehensive plans were last updated in 2016. However, our staff are working on a larger update or broader update to the Tampa comprehensive plan. It is in an earlier stage than the updates to the unincorporated Hillsborough County plan at this time. And that's my extent of my knowledge on this, but I will let Melissa Zornita, who is also on the call with me, add anything to that if she has something to add. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions with regards to this? So I think I'll be getting a second bite or a third bite at the apple on this one myself, but I would like to ask, actually, there's a lot in there, but I find this, can you go to page 6?
I'm sorry, would you like me to share my slide presentation again?
Yes, it might not be page 6, what, or number 6.
Of course. One moment. Just go right back there. So we have goal 6, and then I can also go back.
That's build a smart system. So
Okay, thank you.
I'm always wondering about this. Let's see here. I guess it's implement comprehensive multimodal parking and curb space management programs. What does implement comprehensive multimodal parking mean?
Yeah, so with that section, thank you for the question. But we are also looking at ensuring that we're looking at parking not from just the vehicular perspective. Traditionally, you have regular vehicles parking, but looking at, where you can have bike parking to make that more accessible, and storage, so that folks, if you are choosing to use a different mode, that you're able to use that mode and park it safely. So that's really what we're getting at there for the implementing that multimodal parking.
So you mean parking for not just cars, but parking for like bicycles?
Yes.
Okay, because I think it's really, I never knew what multimodal, I kept hearing multimodal centers. To me, it's just, and it sounded very positive, but I wasn't sure what it was. And I asked for about a year or two, what are these multimodal centers that don't have multi-modes? And I mean, I think they're essentially parking garages, and it seems like they're parking garages for park and rides. So you're just saying there, the parking garages with access for bicycles?
Yes, bicycles, and then also I'm looking at the policy language, also looking at parking for carpool, vanpool, other types of shared vehicles. So making sure that that is also implemented so that other modes beyond just a single occupancy vehicle that someone drives by themselves that they park and leave alone.
I really think it would be clearer and better to describe it as a parking garage for park and ride, for access, for just what you said, more clear, because I think it's really, I found this, I just find this utter obsession with parking garages, and that's why I described what had been called the BRT as a regional parking garage plan, because it had 9,000 spaces built in, like 8,900 spaces built in for moving 300 people an hour on buses. And I just, the numbers didn't compute, but I find over and over and over again, I'm not sure what is the motivating factor on, and I really don't want to see, de minimis parking garages any longer, particularly within the city of Tampa. There might be some needs for out in the communities, some places, 30-mile stretches from downtown, something like that, for some parking. But it seems like we just have so much parking space and garages and everything else that I think it would be clearer to describe it as a parking garage for, I guess, park and ride that allows for parking for bicycles and vanpool spaces or something like that, so that it will be clear on what that is, because I had many different descriptions made to me. It was going to be an office building on top. It was going to be trains were going to come through it and whatever, and the state, until I went to Orlando, where the state spent $50 million on a multimodal center that many were complaining about. And I couldn't understand why anyone would complain about a multimodal center, but it's kind of isolated by itself at the airport. It's a new terminal in Orlando at the airport, and it's a massive $50 million parking garage. And it doesn't, basically so that you can then take the people mover a mile into the regular terminal at the Orlando airport, but it's in no way, your multi-modes there, I guess, are to have a flight on a major airlines. And I guess if you consider the people mover to be part of a multimodal system for the people that park in the parking garage. I just think it would be clearer to have what is meant by that, because, I'm also just finding this inordinate focus on parking garages that I continue to find, I still am not clear on exactly why. I don't know if they're for charging vehicles or for a belief in only automated vehicles in the future, whatever, but I think that should be clear about what that is.
Certainly, we can certainly take a look at that objective and the policy language underneath it and try to make that more clear. So thank you very much for the
Great.
feedback.
Thank you, thank you. I don't know if there's still anyone else with any comments anywhere? Okay, so I guess seeing no other comments, we're not supposed to pass this out of here with any action item or anything like that. It was just a review. Okay, so with that, thank you, and we'll close this segment, and we're going to move to Director Williams.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Kipp. I appreciate the work you did to move the meeting on. Thank you. Also, thank you, Councilman. I appreciate you opening the meeting as well. All right, we're going to go back over, and we'll start back on page 2. And in section 2 of the packet, you will see the minutes from the Strategic Planning and External Relations Committee hybrid meeting that was on August 16th, 2021. We also have the Operations and Safety Committee hybrid meetings took place on August 16th, and the Finance and Audit Committee hybrid meeting also took place on August 16th. Is there a motion to approve all three sets of meetings?
Motion to approve. Second.
Thank you. Motion to approve by Johnson and...
Second.
Okay, thank you. All right, will we take a roll call vote? Thank you.
Director Hudson,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Kemp,
Yes.
Director Knight,
Yes.
Director Overman,
Yes.
Director Schisler,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you.
Before we move on, I'm sorry, this is Julie Mandel. Before we move on, I just want to make it clear for the record that we do have a physical quorum in place for all three of the committees. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, public comments? There are no public comments? Okay, so with no public comments, we'll pass. We have committee action items. Next on the agenda are committee action items for review by the Joint Committee and recommendation for approval by the full Board of Directors. I think item 4A. Item 4A is presented for review of fiscal year 2022 through 2031 Transit Development Plan, annual update and recommendation for the full board's approval at the November 1st, 2021 regular board meeting. The draft for fiscal year 2022 through fiscal year 2021 TDB update was included in your packets for review. It is accompanied by a write-up and a proposed resolution. Do committee members have any comments or questions for staff?
I do.
Okay. Is that Commissioner Overman, you're recognized?
Thank you. It looks like a great PDP. I did have a question, however. We have had submittals for a service development, or basically for developing the service for a variety of circulators, like the Uptown Circulator, as well as others. But what I'm not seeing is a status, or at least a description, and maybe I missed it, for the downtowner and where that stands. Is it still part of our plan? I've looked through it and I missed it. So, what's the status of the downtowner at this point?
Good morning. This is Adelie LeGrand. May I respond, Chair Williams?
Yes, please.
Good morning, Commissioner Overman. So the TDP update has not changed from our last update. If you do recall, a couple of months ago, we asked for the board to approve that we would ask for an extension of our TDP update for a couple of reasons. One, we had not completed our onboard survey to get data to support how much ridership we have. So that was one thing that we were waiting on to update our TDP. Also, because of COVID, we wanted to make sure we had better data about our current market so that when we updated the TDP, it would be more reflective of our new future. So what you see in front of you has not changed. Everything that we have here is what has been here for the last couple of years. So there have been no changes in our efforts or our projects that we're moving forward. Now, specifically for individual projects, there's several of them in the TDP. For the downtowner, the uptowner, we are having conversations with our partners to figure out how we can move those projects forward. There are a lot of nuances for each of them, whereas, the downtowner was a project that was actually in operation. There is a relationship with FDOT through a grant that was a pass-through for HART. There was funding that was coming from another entity to fund the effort that they didn't have any dollars from HART. Now those dollars don't exist any longer, so there's a lot of work to do to go from where we are now to understanding what the new implementation looks like. But again, there's a lot of nuance there, and we're working through that process. Again, there are lots of other projects. You mentioned the Uptowner. We are engaged with the Uptowner, the IP, is it called? We're engaged with the IP to discuss again how we can partner to move that forward. Is it really IP? Is it wrong? It sounds funny, though. Like, I feel like I'm on Beavis and Butthead. But anyway, we are definitely, working with our partners. And at the end of the day, what I'll say is in order for us to really build out the system that we want, listening to Katrina's presentation about the comprehensive plan, if we want to have smart systems and really have robust transit, we have to partner. We know we don't have the funding on our own to move these projects forward. So we are here willing to collaborate and find additional partners so we can move these projects forward. I hope that was answering your question as far as the TDP and where we are in some of those projects.
No, it does. I recognize that, that we are, our TDP has been pretty much the same. I get it. I think it is also important to as we move forward, to get a status on those partnerships and how they are actually playing out in the plan. So this may not be the space, but I just wanted to kind of see where we were with it now that there is some movement towards folks being downtown again, especially as we move into tourist season. And it's gorgeous in October. So that's why I asked. But thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I do not show any other hands raised at this time. Okay, do I have a motion? Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Kemp, first motion, and Councilman Gischler, second motion. Staff, will you take a vote, please? Thank you.
Director Hudson?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Director Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you. The next action item is 4B, is to review the proposed Heartline Title VI program, actually Title IV program. Oh, that's the title. That should be Title VI, right? Yeah. Title VI program update, and to recommend it for the full board approval at the November 1st, 2021 regular board meeting. Upon the board's approval, the Title VI program update will be submitted to the Federal Transit Administration. The current Title VI program expires on December 1st, 2021. The update was included in your packets for review. It is accompanied by a write-up and proposed resolution. Do committee members have any comments or questions for staff? I see no hands raised.
Second.
I didn't hear who.
Commissioner Overman.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Commissioner Overman moved to approve, and Commissioner Kemp second. Will you take a roll call? Thank you.
Director Hudson?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Director Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Director Williams? Madam Chair? Your vote?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. All right. Okay. We will move on to our next action item 4C. In your packets, you can find a write-up detailing the contract terms and procurement considerations and a proposed resolution. Do committee members have any comments and questions for staff? I see no hands raised.
So are we having we're not having a presentation, just move approval?
So-
There's no presentation listed here. Is there one?
Chair Williams, may I respond?
Yes, please.
So Commissioner Kemp, this action item is to get approval for a contract for shelters and transit street furniture. We've presented this topic to the board several times. So it's just to actually now move forward with the contract, to award the contract.
So moved.
Thank you. So I'll second.
Second.
And do you
And
have questions? Yes.
Yeah, I also just have a comment, it's kind of, when you know that there's an opportunity to do this, I have hardly been able to bear looking at the different heart shelters everywhere, and known for years that they've been terribly substandard, out of shape. Most of the shelters don't even have coverings. It's just benches with advertising that I understand aren't even heart. My own shelter, which is one of the top routes on Florida Avenue, or that my own stop, has simply a posted sign on a really narrow sidewalk with fast-moving traffic. So I so much applaud this, and I think this would just be excellent. So I'm very, very excited to move it forward. Thank you for taking this as a priority.
Thank you. Are there any more comments? Okay. Lena, will you please take a roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Director Hudson?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Director Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We're moving on to committee action item 4D. A detailed write-up with the contract overview and a proposed resolution are included in your packets. Do committee members have any comments and questions for staff?
I could move approval.
Okay, no questions?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Approved by Commissioner Kemp and second by Councilman Gisler. Lena, will you take a roll call, please?
Director Hudson?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Director Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Chair Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. The next one is 4E, and this will come from the joint committee meeting review. And recommend that the HART Board of Directors authorize the Chief Executive Officer to award a contract for the Cisco SmartNet maintenance renewal to Presidio Holdings Incorporated, a Cisco Certified Gold Partner, in the amount of $215,330.63 for a one-year contract.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right. First by Commissioner Kemp, second by Commissioner Johnson. Thank you. Director Jovan. I'm sorry, did you say Overman? Okay, Commissioner Overman will take the second. Then we really did take back your director, your commissioner role. Thanks. Okay, Lena, when you take a roll, please. Thank you.
Director Hudson?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Director Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Chair Williams?
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Okay, let's see here. Now we're on to number 6 because thanks Commissioner Kemp, you covered 5A. Okay, so we're now 5B. Okay, we're on to 5B at this point. Operations and Maintenance Monthly Metrics Report. Mr. Stephen Fields, Manager of Transit Logistics, and Nick Goulburn, Technical Support Coordinator, are co-presenters of the Operations and Maintenance Metrics Report. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning.
Commissioner Kemp, board members, and CEO Mr. Grant. My name is Stephen Fields. I am the Transit Logistics Manager. I presented the matrix report for operations along with my partner Nick Goldberg for the maintenance, August and September maintenance. August ridership. August ridership is broken down into 4 different weeks, as you see. We did 106,000 people on week 1, week 2, 108,000, week 3, 111,000, and week 4, 110,000. And the last week, 45,000 due. That was a short week of 2 days. In 2018, for the month of August, ridership was right at 1 million. In 2020, with the COVID hit, it went down to 460,000. And in 2021, we went 482,000 customers that rode with us. Also, in the month of September, we did 65,000 for the week 1, and that was also a short week that carried over into week 5 from August, and those 2 weeks combined come to about 111,000 combined, which is our average that we're doing. Week 2, 107,000 that we're doing, and week 3, 110,000, week 4, 114, and week 5, 82,000 rode with us during that time. On-time performance. Our goal is 85%. The standard across the nation is 75%. August on-time performance was 80%. Our peers that we looked at, PSTA, 69% for the month of August. JTA, Jacksonville, 79%. PalmTran, West Palm Beach, 78%. Fortran, Daytona Beach, 89%. In the month of September, our on-time performance was 81%, up 1%. Our peers posted, PTSA again, 69, PalmTran 77, and Votran and JTA was unable to provide the numbers. Across the board, we are doing good is what we're doing. We have our supervisors out monitoring the routes, and we have managers also monitor the routes to make sure our on-time performance for our 2022 goal to be at least 85%. August on-time performance by route. As you see, our goal is 85% by the 2022 mark, and she standard is 77%. We have 3 routes that might be a little underperforming, which is the Route 10, Route 14, and the Route 32. We're out monitoring those routes diligently every day with our supervisors. We have put at our transfer centers to make sure that our operators arrive and depart on time. Also, managers also...
Can we let, sorry, can we let whoever that is making that noise?
Would you please, if you're on the line, would you please mute at this time?
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the month of September also, those same 3 routes, they're a little underperforming as in the 10, the 14, and the 32. We're looking deeply into those to make sure that on our next bid that our performance would be up a lot higher. So that way we're looking to get feedback from our frontline workers, such as the operators out there driving the buses, to give us helpful things to do, and our supervisors. So that way we're putting all this together, working together, collaborating with planning, scheduling and operations together to make sure our routes are performing to the standard goal that we're looking for. August missed trips. August missed trips. We did a total of 51,000 trips for the month of August. We missed 111 trips. That's a trip completion rate of 99.67% for the month of August. As you see, the one that sticks out the farthest is August the 20th. That is right before our bid happens. What happens, most of our operators, they do call out on that particular day. On that day, we required over 40 operators to come in to assist us to help us out during that time. Unfortunately, too many of them called out, and we missed 29 of our routes that was out during that time. For the month of September, missed trips, did a total of 49,854 trips. Missed trips went down by 70%, by 70. Trips completion rate was 99.79%. And as you see, the mechanical failures, operation shortage, others, and bio. Bio is any type of bodily fluids that might leak on the bus, or coffee spills or drink spills on the bus. The gray is for maintenance failure. It went down also from the previous month. It went down significant, and my partner Nick Goldberg will talk more on the maintenance part of the failures. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson is going to ask a question. George
Real quick.
Johnson is going to ask a question at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you go back to the first slide real fast? I just want to make sure I didn't miss something. Sorry, it's not updating here. Okay, so that's just for pure ridership. I was kind of curious on some of the other metrics that you brought up. Do we look at those because this one looks to be year over year. Do we have any data for that? Like, I don't need to necessarily have it right now, but I think it'd be helpful in presentations in the future if we could have the year over year, so we could kind of see how we're doing from that standpoint.
Yes, we can provide that.
Okay.
Next month's update.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fields. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee, Ms.
morning.
LeGrand.
Good morning.
Our mean distance between failure goal is to drive 6,000 miles before experiencing a mechanical failure. In September and August, both months, the mean distance between failure was 4,005 for August and 3,992 for September. We did see a slight decrease, and that's mainly due to supply chain interruptions and manpower shortages nationwide. Our lost trips for mechanical failures account for less than 1% of our total trips. Our peak hour fleet availability goal is to have 85% of our vehicles in service during peak hours. In August, our fleet availability was 83%. In September, we did see a slight decrease, which brought us closer to the industry standard of 80%, and that's mainly due to the supply chain issues and extended downtimes waiting for parts and a lack of technicians. We're very proud of our preventive maintenance program. As you can tell from the slide above, we're compliant. We're well above the FTA standard of 80% compliance, and we've completed our preventive maintenance inspections every 6,000 miles, 100% of the time. Our fleet cleanliness goal is to do a deep clean, which is a thorough cleaning of the vehicle's interior every 45 days for our revenue vehicles. In August, we cleaned 205 buses. In September, we cleaned 201. Both months, we achieved a 97% compliance, cleaning our vehicles on time. Our fleet has never been cleaner at this moment. The daily sanitizations, for both August and September, we sanitized almost 9,000 vehicles. That includes our bios, where we have bodily fluids on board. And that concludes the maintenance presentation. I'll ask the committee if there's any questions.
Yes, Director Johnson had some questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The slide that you had where it showed the percentage of buses where it was, that were, there, that was it, perfect. Is there any, so first, great that we're at 100% the last, looks like the last 6 months. Is there a reason why we don't have 100% of inspections done every month? I'm just curious if there's a reason for the blip.
So the standard is to complete the PMs every 6,000 miles, within 10%. So when the FTA looks at it, if we are anywhere 6,600 miles ahead or 5,600 miles below, that's what will cause a blip.
Okay,
On average, our buses run 200 miles a day, so if we schedule a bus for a PM that's at 6,400 miles, by the time it gets back to the shop the following day, it might be 1 or 2 miles over. And that's what causes these blips.
okay. All right, but it looks like that we still have we've got a great compliance record, so that's good. Congratulations to everybody who does that.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Aye.
Commissioner Kipp, you are recognized.
Thank you. I'd just like to sing praise again. I'm just so pleased that we have these extraordinarily high on-time performance records when we have been just not even counting the buses that didn't show. I know I've said this several times, but it's a remarkable shift in our service, and I really think the changes are something for us to be really, really proud of. These are excellent numbers. I think it looks like we've right-sized it and really taken, Ms. LeGrand, thank you, because I feel like you've really been very focused on making sure that we do great performance on these measures, and it shows in these numbers.
Madam Chair, may I comment?
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Kemp and the rest of the board, I just want to share that this is a testament to the staff and the team. As you know, I am not, a bus operator. I'm not going out there and dealing with traffic or dealing with the biohazard spills or any of the challenges that they're facing, as well as the mechanics who are working on these vehicles and ensuring that they're ready to go out and service and ensuring that they're safe and clean. And, it was a part of my initial, goal when I came here about trust and transparency. And we're not where we want to be, but we think it's important to show you where we are so that when we get where we want to be, you can see that it was a journey that we all worked toward getting there. So again, I just want to use this opportunity to thank the team, thank Mr. Fields and Mr. Nicholas here for really rolling up their sleeves and coming up with the ideas and doing the research and finding out where our peers are and helping us to make sure that at a minimum, we're in the same, group with the rest of our peers. And in to our surprise, we were outperforming several of them. So again, we're just trying to make sure we're keeping focused on where the challenges are. So we have the resources there to do the root cause analysis to find out what the problems are so we can address them. And then, we did mention waiting for the next markup, but we're not just waiting for the next markup. If there are things that we can do immediately to fix those routes or those delays, that's what we're doing right now. And then we'll put in the permanent solution with the next markup. So again, I just want to thank you, but also really thanking the team for stepping up and making this happen.
Thank you. Commissioner Kipp, you recognized.
And obviously, thank you. The leadership is there, and leadership on part of the staff and all of our drivers. It's definitely a team effort. So that's, I think, also recognized by the board. But so it's really wonderful to see these numbers change and to know. I also just like to point out, I think there still are continuing problems with Flamingo. From what I've heard, so that when we're not capturing that ridership or that money, and, the fact that on the random rides that I've heard from some people, that it seems to be a little bit of a continuing problem, so I'm not sure if what we have to do about that, but that's, of course, a great feature if we can get it working and make it work for us.
Thank you. Director Johnson, you still have your hand up. Do you need to comment? Okay, just wanted to check. Thank you. I don't see any other hands raised for questions, so thank you so much for your presentations, and we appreciate the level of detail and the work you're doing. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Section 6, information items. In your packets in Section 6, you can find 2 information reports. 6A is an update on COVID-19. This report is provided in response to a request from the committee members received during the August 16, 2021 meeting. The report is provided for your information. Anyone have any questions on that report that's within the book, the packet at this time? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to 6B, Safety and Security Update, August and September 2021. The second information report is a standing monthly overview of accidents by mode and other safety activities for August and September 2021. The report is also provided for your information. This concludes the regular business for today. Seems like I've got everything covered. All right, so we'll go right into old business. Anyone have any old business? Any new business? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.